Curbside Pickup by Triscribe. Chapter 4. Life Flashing By. The next pickup for a weekend at the Avengers compound was thankfully handled by nondescript Happy Hogan, for which Peter was exceedingly grateful. A few days later, though, Tony texted him that his help was needed for something, and that Peter should expect a ride waiting for him after school. Oh, so cautiously that afternoon he slunk out the doors, down the steps and towards the street. "Who do you think it will be this time?" Ned asked, grinning even as he kept up to Peter's slow-footed snail's pace. "The Winter Soldier? Dr. Banner? Ant-Man? Oh, if it's Ant-Man, do you think the Wasp is with him? I saw some footage on YouTube last night of her beating up a bunch of security guards. And even with all the time she shrinks down, it's awesome! She got these cool stinger weapons." "Ned?" "Yeah?" "Please stop talking." "Okay." It turned out to be worse than any of Ned's ideas, because not only were there two Avengers waiting with a Honda Civic, one sitting behind the wheel wasn't, to put it lightly. "She needs the practice," Clint grinned, clapping his hands on Wanda's shoulders. "The most experienced of drivers." "I'm going to die," Peter announced before reluctantly sliding into the backseat. "Can I have your Lego collection after the funeral?" Ned asked. "The fact that you're so nice to be willing to wait until after makes me inclined to say sure." "Sweet," Ned waved, completely unrepentant as Wanda started the engine and put the car into drive. Peter continued to glare up until she stomped on the gas and they tore away from the curb. After that he became a little more preoccupied, gripping his seatbelt and calling out warnings of red lights. Clint was of little to no help, actively encouraging Wanda to be rude and assertive. "Why exactly do you need my help?" Peter asked in a relatively peaceful moment. "Motorcycle!" "We see her," Wanda said, letting the bike over before scooting into the space she had been occupying, nearly cutting off another car as she did so. "You're the only one who still lives full-time in the city, so Tony suggested getting you to be our tour guide," Clint supplied. The driver behind them blasted on their horn, and he stretched a hand out of the window in order to flip off the bird. "We need to knock out the last few hours of practice before Wanda can get her license tomorrow, and I figured she needed some more experience on city streets rather than the empty lanes around my farm." "Hours?" "So what route would you suggest, kid?" Peter wondered at the insanity his life had become. Then he told Wanda to hang a right at the next intersection before bracing his feet against the floorboards when she took the turn far too fast. It was a good thing he didn't have much homework to do that night. I'm going to do the fifth chapter as well, because that one was really short. Okay, here we go. Chapter 5. Welcome Respite. "You have received one new message." Grimacing, Peter swiped the screen and hesitantly opened the text. "Dr. B. Hey kid, I'll be in the Grey Toyota down the block. Let me know if there's anything you want to eat after school. I'll pick it up on my way." Peter nearly burst out laughing, he was so relieved. Quickly, before the tardy bell signaled the start of class, he sent back a flood of thumbs-up emojis, along with a hamburger and a question mark. Dr. Banner's reply came in about 10 minutes later in the form of an old-school parentheses and colon smiley face. When Peter showed it to Ned behind him in class, the boy clapped him on the back with a grin. "See? There is one Avenger who knows how to act like a normal person." MJ's response was a tad more cynical. "I wouldn't be so sure the others hadn't put him up to bringing the Hulk out while he waits for you." "Oh no," Peter said, good humour vanishing. The more he thought about it, the more likely it seemed. "They probably have. Crap." He spent the rest of the day in a numb state, with brief bouts of existential dread. When the dismissal bell finally rang, he couldn't make up his mind whether to race out of the building or drag his feet. Splitting the difference, he wound up walking at a normal pace, fearfully scanning the line of cars at the curb as he approached. One dark grey vehicle off to the right caught his eye, and he waved a hand to the thankfully not big green hand that had him stepping out the pace. Peter jumped into the front passenger's seat and immediately thanked the man sitting behind the wheel. Dr. Banner smiled. "You're welcome, Peter. It's no trouble. I do like something to do domestically normal for a change." "Not just for coming to get me. I mean, for not, coming out as the big guy." The man's smile immediately shifted to something cheekier. "You thought that was liable to happen, eh?" "I didn't until MJ pointed it out, but yeah, figured you might, since you two have been working together a lot more lately." Banner laughed. "Well, Clint and Sam did suggest it, but I decided I didn't really want to spend half the school into a panic just for the sake of embarrassing you. And I'll say it again. Thank you." "Sure thing. Food's in the back, by the way. You want to grab it before we go?" Peter quickly stretched behind him to grab the paper bag that smelled delicious, and then buckled up with one hand while still stuffing a handful of fries into his mouth with the other. Dr. Banner just shook his head, still grinning, before putting on his turn signal and pulling out into the lane. End of chapter and end of video. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that. Funny one, that one. Both of them, actually. I like that Bruce is all chill about it and is letting Peter just breathe. Nice guy. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe. Yada, yada, yada. Bye, guys.